Nothing defines the people and their lifestyle more than their daily food. What people eat and in what form the food is served unquestionably underpins the core of the tradition. In fact, the ingredients might be the same, but the preparation will determine what the outcome will be in terms of character, taste, and presentation. After all, diversity is just a spice of life. You know, the average Food Network is likely to give you a larger-than-life host and a cast of contestants whose culinary tales further drums up the already dramatic set. Not here. Welcome to AFRO Dishes with a Twist. And this week we're bringing together three ordinary Namibian food fanatics and observe how the foodies prepare their respective traditional dishes with finesse and a modern twist. Eventually, they will be judged based on their ability to take an ordinary dish and give it a kind of a spin that will wow the judges. Up for grabs for the overall winner is a whopping $20,000 Namibian dollars. This week we are in Windhoek, Namibia.
Esther Andone Shibute. But when I was in primary school, I was at a school with a lot of colored and bastard kids, and then they would always call me Easter instead of Esther. It went from Esther to Easter Bunny to just Bunny. So everybody calls me Bunny at home. I was raised by my godmother, my mom's older sister, because my dad wanted me to have a city sort of education.
Bunny is at Oshetu Market, in the heart of Katutura. Here she is hoping to get all the ingredients needed in order to recreate one of her family's old classics.
I was actually surprised to find, I remember this, also again way back at the village, my grandmother used this, it's like a root. I didn't even know what garlic was then. But I guess you'd call it like traditional garlic. And today, I actually found that at the market, and I was like, what are the odds? Here I am trying to reinvent my grandmother's bean dish. I'm going to try and use a lot of ingredients. I've got Kapana spice. They have like these little sachets, and that's basically it. Less is more.
And of course, that priceless selfie moment for Esther and our enterprise in May.
My wish is for Namibians, for us to sort of get out of our comfort zones, not to say, okay, fine, because I am an Oshambo lady, I'm only cooking strictly bamboo traditional food. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to open like a restaurant like Papata, for example, I need to sort of incorporate other traditional meals as well.
Great idea, Bunny. Needless to say, that fresh homegrown ingredients for traditional delicacies are in plenty supply at the open market across Namibia. Just look at all these products. These are naturally Namibian fresh produce, from the farm to the marketplace and ultimately on your plate. All of it at prices that will not make your wallet cringe.
My name is Loran Ndiku Dimbwengini Akwake. I was born and raised in Windhoek, Namibia, specifically Vambo Lokasi. I was raised by my grandmother. My mom was also part of it, but I spent most of my time with my grandmother, and she's basically the reason why I fell in love with the kitchen. At the age of 8, I was practically cooking for a number of 9 to 15 people. Cooking is a passion that I've turned into a business. I run a catering company, and I also do traveling and tours, which is basically a combination of everything. I've got two local traditional foods that I really, really love, and those are mopani worms and the wild berry, which is a fruit, like a very little tiny fruit. So basically with mopani worms and the wild berry, I don't think I've had any recreation or had it differently apart from how it's been served all my life. So my idea is to turn it into something completely different.
And then we have CK, the only man in the pack. He's out to prove that where there is smoke, there is fire and ultimately some real good food. Yep, this guy believes that the kitchen is equally a common place for men, just as it is for women. We'll see about that.
To your typical Angolan dishes, so I've always been open to eating and tasting and cooking and experimenting with food, and that's always been my style of cook.
Betty, hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine. What fish do you have for us on the menu?
We have Sunday with
Whenever I have time and the schedule allows it, I love being in the kitchen. I love creating things. I love cooking.
Cooking, yes. But is there space on local menus for local traditional cuisine?
From where we're coming 10 years ago and where we are right now, we made some great progress in developing our own traditional food. It's just that there's a lot of diversity out there that isn't being touched on. And I think that's a great thing about the show, is to get a bit more diversity there.
And speaking of diversity, all our cooks today came to this battle with their individual set of skills, or maybe tricks up their sleeves.
Food in general has like a way of taking us back to our past, and I decided to make a beans risotto. I remember growing up at the village, and my grandmother would make like beans. My dessert is sort of this is trial and error. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I am hoping it comes out great. But it's supposed to be a mealy malva pudding sort of thing, so I really hope this is, like I said, trial and error. I hope it comes out great and nobody gets food poisoning.
Maize meal dessert? Well, that's something new, right? It's time to turn out the heat in this Afro Dishes with a Twist battle.
I'm gonna start by making like a soft porridge. I'm gonna add some butter, then some condensed milk. Things will not always go your way, and sometimes, even though something doesn't look perfect, like on the outside, you know how they say like beauty is like inner beauty is what matters most. I guess in this case I'm taking away the fact that sometimes how the food tastes is what matters most.
And then disaster strikes, and it's all chaos in Bunny's kitchen.
Guys, this is actually really burning.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, but nothing magic buns can fix. Let me show you what magic material looks like. Oh my god, mother will be so proud. If it doesn't work out and I know that okay, I don't like the way it tastes, I don't serve it and I try and make something else, because I don't want to disappoint people. Who will think that burned? Nobody.
With the first part of the meal out of the way, Bunny is slowly edging closer to the 10G.
If I know that I will not be able to deliver or I'm not comfortable with a certain dish, then I don't take on those jobs. I'm going to add, like I said, my little root.
Here we are, a dish of many colors, various palatable ingredients in one pot, nourishing nutrients galore. Some Namibians might refer to this delicacy as a potjiekos. Barney, on the other hand, is adamant that this is a risotto. But is it? Stay tuned to find out. And now it's time for Ndiku to shake up things in the kitchen. 10,000 Namibian dollars still in the offing. The stakes are high. Will Ndiku match up to her nemesis?
We are back in the kitchen, and this is where we do the things. So earlier I did mention that I was using two very important ingredients that I actually also love to eat or snap on myself. So I'll be using embe, and the best part about embe is that you can actually find it in Spar now. It's actually like a whole product. It's on the shelves, guys. It's got this whole nut in it, literally, that you can suck on the whole day.
Suck on it all day.
So I got my liquid, and then now I'm gonna have to separate the skin from the nut. nice and petite. Close it up.
With the amber ice cream dessert well on the way to its glory, it's off to the main dish for Ndiku.
So what I'm going to do with the mopani worms is that I'm going to smash it, and I'm going to turn it into a patty basically that you can have on a burger. So I'm just gonna stamp them. Alright, so I've boiled potatoes earlier in the day. I'm done with the mopani worm patty.
Well, there it is. From Shandubala to the world. A burger patty like it was never seen before.
Now, I think my ice cream has mixed up quite well. I'll now remove it and put it in the fridge so it can set. And we don't really have to grill it for too long. And we are done, guys. Look at this. Our delicious mopani worm burger.
A burger by all standard, truly Namibian, African, and very traditional. On this plate, Africa meets the world. Next up is Baldur's Bay born CK, and guess what? He's got a big fish to fry.
Right, guys, you know how you can't buy fish without having some good bubbly on the side. So what we got some good fresh Zambezi bream that we saw earlier that we picked up by the market. So we're gonna fire going on the side here. That still has a few minutes before we can start using it. So what we essentially will do, we're gonna fill this babies up.
Before I proceed anywhere, I forgot I have to put on my apron, so I'm ready because fish can be really messy. Just get the plastic, the plate. So essentially what I use for my fish is black lemon and black pepper, because that's all I need. Anything else is over the top, so we're just gonna quickly spice up these few pieces that we have here. This is a nice tangy flavor. Normally get it small, and there's obviously different species of spinach as well. And the interesting thing that the lady said at the market is that they call it the 5 rand because it's obviously a relative of one of the species of spinach as well. So, but doesn't matter. Spinach is spinach, whether you get one variety. The taste is always the same. The fiber content is high, and it's good for your immune, for your digestive system.
Meanwhile, CK Sports are on the grill, and he's got to trot between the kitchen and the fireplace.
This one will almost be ready as well to start sauteing the onions.
And the bacon finally arrives. Quite an interesting combination, I must say.
This will also go into the same pot.
While, maybe 10 minutes or so, once that big thing is cooked.
These guys are done. We're gonna put them on there. Our mixture looks like it's now cooked soft. That's our bacon with some onions. We have some green peppers in here, so we're gonna add now the spinach. Fry nicely with that mixture that we put in the pot. So it's not something that you do quickly, especially when you're cooking over fire.
At this point, it is worth noting that none of our cooks today has undergone any formal training in the culinary field. They are naturals, the trial and error type of foodies, driven by passion and guided by their respective traditions and upbringings.
And another thing with me, cooking was not like I was taught it. It's all about observing, you know.
None of our featured cooks have ever prepared these same dishes before.
I've actually never in my whole life created any of the dishes that I actually created or prepared today.
With all the contestants having wrapped up their respective dishes, albeit with a little hustling, the moment of reckoning has arrived. It is now time for the judges to pronounce themselves on what's hot and what's not, and to take stock of all the hits versus the misses. The question is, who will scoop the top honors us tonight. Will it be Ndiku with her protein-rich Mopani warm burger, Barney and her modernized bean stew, or will CK's urban version of the Zambezi Brim swim away with the accolade? On the judges panel, we've got our local businessman Tonata, Cuban Namibian culinary critic, Philippine, Namibia's own traditional food specialist and founder of Pepata restaurant, Jolo Kenny, and finally, our London-based African food specialist.
It is a burger that I've actually created out of the Mopani worm. And the Mopani worm is a worm that is found in both the northern and the southern parts of Namibia. And so it's mainly focused on the patty. For me, food is like making love. If you can entice me to it, then you lose out. For you to be able to transform it in a beef patty, you need to make sure that it's quite hard and that you're able to stamp it so you can actually get it to the texture that it is right now.
Crunchy.
Yeah, very crunchy.
You can try it?
Yes, you may.
Where does the original come from?
Almost all the areas of Southern Africa.
I would have preferred she was more open as to explaining the originality of the dish. Like somebody from Namibia, they won't know what the hell is a Mopani worm, right?
My issue as a West African with the Mopani worm has always been a little bit crunchy. I think the cheese and everything else just makes it softer.
Mopani worms was great. That being converted to the burger.
Even though we've added so many elements to make it the patty, the original flavor of the Mopani, you can actually still feel it in there.
Thank you.
The young generation will like it a lot. I'm not sure about the older generation. Maybe they might be like, burger. So it's like a 50-50. Maybe I have ever seen a Mopani worm burger. I think that would be a first.
Mopani burger. I think that would be a seller. I've never heard of it. Never tried one before. It was the first time I had it. It was crunchy. It was tasteful.
Because Mopani has got a lot of protein, so it might be a very favorite dish on the Namibian menu calendar. Yes.
Yeah, locally people use it as a starter for every meal. They will use it as a starter. They will eat it before a meal. So this is actually...
I will always eat it as a burger.
A bag full of mixed sentiments here from our judges. But overall, a good report. Next up, the man from the coast.
And what you have in front of you is a rendition of a Zambezi bream fillet on a bed of spinach, stir-fried spinach, and some savory rice.
CK, what inspired this meal?
Well, a lot of things. Time, pressure, and just simplicity as well.
What are the ingredients in this meal?
Zambezi bream, spinach, locally grown spinach, stir-fried with some bacon and some veggies, and then obviously the savory rice with some stir-fried veggies as well.
I've had this Zambezi bream before, but the one that was presented today was also very healthy because it had less oil. It was prepared with less oil, but I like the fact that it had a lot of mixed veggies in its rice.
Spinach, 5 years? Which
5 years with a mixture of the coffee spinach.
Oh, so it's a combination?
It's a combination.
Wow. I don't even see a single bone in here. How did you do it?
Well, I'm from the coast, so we know how to fill it.
And then Judge John spoils the party.
It wasn't different to what I expected from that kind of fish. I didn't think that there was a lot of creativity in that.
But then CK pulls one.
Very tasty, very flavorish, very nice.
And in comes Barney with her bean stew. From the look of things, the judges are captured.
The beans-based meal from northern Namibia, the results are quite very traditional and very, very, very filling, very nutritious. We like the combination of all the different types of veggies that are used.
And I grabbed watching my grandmother make or cook with it, and I fell in love with it.
The taste of garlic, the traditional garlic, was like really exuberant. The mixture of the veggies with the makundes, it's really traditional, exciting, exuberant. Flavor-wise, was the best for me.
But then Judge John picks up something odd.
I'm a little bit confused because when you say risotto, I usually expect risotto to be like a half-cooked rice.
Yes, that's why I said it's just like beans, like a bean risotto. Like
The beans are the risotto?
Yes.
The beans, I'm not going to call it a risotto because there's nothing about it that resembles or looks like or pretends to be a risotto. I think she needs to get a different name for it.
Oh no, Bunny, what have you done? You nailed the recipe but got the name wrong. This can't be good. No, very wrong. Haji looks worried.
So I obviously have to now change my dish probably and not name it risotto. Maybe like bean a la king or bean banizing, something. I'm gonna try and think of another name for it.
So the mixture of all the ingredients, quite very, very rich as well.
There was a lot more thought and personality in her food and a lot more emotion in her food, which I suspect possibly that's why it tasted, in my view, the best.
I was really stressing about presentation. Like I am bad at presentation.
Well, there's not a lot of ways you can present a stew and rice, right?
Well, they say no decent meal is complete without a sweet course. And today's offerings are no exceptions.
Makalani palm fruit. I sort of just grated it on top. And it's got the modern twist is the berries and the condensed milk and the butter.
Not surprisingly, the judges are struggling to figure out this one. Well, I guess this is a teachable moment for all of them. That's what we do here on Afro Dishes with a twist. We never cease to amaze.
You know how kids don't like pap. They actually make them with pap. They won't even get a taste of it. Yeah, they won't even know they're eating pap. So you're tricking them to pap.
I think I sort of might have failed in that. In the creativity or in the presentation.
Still on the dessert menu, it's for the judges to get a taste of what Dickie has to offer.
It was supposed to be ice cream, but because it didn't have enough time to set, I turned it into a fruit salad. And the main ingredient is embe, which is a wild berry, and it's also found in the northern parts of Namibia.
How did you add it? Did you add it into the cream? The flavor of the embe?
Well, I had to mix it up, obviously, with the process of creating homemade ice cream. And because we didn't have enough time to set, it turned out into cream. And luckily, when it comes to food, food it's a natural art, basically. So I was able to come up with something last minute.
Okay, because embe has this hard kernel inside. How did you crush it?
So I didn't crush it. What I did is I soaked it into water overnight, so the water is able to absorb the flavors from the wild berry. And then what I did was I sifted and then I removed part of the skin to give it more taste.
So this is actually a fruit salad here.
It's interesting. It really was. It really, really, really was. I'm just hoping that the judges really loved the dishes.
And with that, Diku wraps up a culinary evening while CK is still brooding on his dessert.
My dessert, something that just came in like the last 5 minutes after I presented my main course.
And after a long night, this might just be what the judges need.
Since you guys are almost done, so we need to get something to top off.
There's something they usually say about the combination of good food and some good brew. Tonight, it's starting to ring true.
I've taken that and I've made it into a chocolate-infused ombike shot.
So I had to do something that was a bit closer to my heart, so I had to use what I had and what was available.
Still can't get over the drink, the local drink. That's required taste. It's like drinking bad Guinness. You either love it or you hate it. So I hated that one.
I'm quite impressed with that talent that was displayed today. The talent that were on display today.
Actually, taken back on how much you can do with the local traditional food. For me, it was overall very, very impressive.
All the chefs were great. I thought they've obviously put a lot of thought in it.
After today, you can actually see that we don't need to be shy about our traditional local food. It can actually be highly incorporated into the international market easily.
It goes without saying that the contestants were faced with serious challenges in terms of limited time, ingredients, tools, and environment. Here are the judges' decisions. And now for the moment that we have all been waiting for. The overall winner of the premier AFRO Dishes with a Twist battle and a whopping 10,000 Namibian dollars in prize money is Estabani. CK takes the second place, with Ndiku coming in third. What's worth noting, however, is that all our foodies were out to recreate their childhood's most comforting food memories. And that much